Hello, everybody. Today, I am here to go over all of the shoes that I bought in 2025, and I've devised a little scenario for you all. The scenario is if time froze and there were no new shoes forever, and also no old models that you can't currently buy, right? Only the shoes that exist within the bracket of 2024-ish, 2025-ish, whatever's on the market. Would I buy each of these shoes again or not? And there's going to be a couple iterations on this concept. So if I would buy it again, would I buy it if I could then not buy anything in its category as well? So that's going to differentiate the yes buys from the super yes buys. And if I wouldn't buy it again, obviously it was probably not very good for me personally. So we're going to go one by one. I'm overwhelmed looking at all of these shoes. I believe I counted that there are 18 shoes that I bought this year, which is frankly a lot of shoes for anybody to buy within the year. And I didn't realize that I had bought this many shoes. So I guess, yeah, let's start with an easy one. This is the Dynafish Xiaoyan. I love this shoe. I would buy it again. It is a super trainer. That's the category that I'm going to put it in, right? And as I said, the parameters of this little thought experiment are, would I buy it again? And then that's a guaranteed yes for this, but would I buy it again if it was the only shoe from the super trainer category that I could buy again? And that's a much tougher question for any shoe. This one's going to be a yes. Yeah, I would. I mean, that is going to eliminate some of the other super trainers from my ability to buy again forever. But this was the best in category for the super trainer category for me this year. And it was pretty much not even close at all. So Dynafish Xiaoyan gets the best grade out of any shoe in this little thought experiment. Next shoe, Salomon Aeroblaze 3. I wouldn't buy this again. I really tried to like it, but the foam just didn't work underfoot for me. It's like extremely firm, and not in a way that, like, sometimes a really firm foam like a Light Strike Pro, the original Light Strike Pro, could be really firm and have this like rubbery bouncy effect and rebound you with immediacy and like pinginess. This just didn't have enough impact absorption for me to bounce me. It sort of, I landed and my joints just took all of the energy into them, and it didn't do the job for me. And I don't know what category I would call this. It's just like a speed trainer, like an unplated, mid stack, lower stack speed trainer. And yeah, it just didn't frankly work for me at all. So no, even if, if this were the only shoe that I could buy, even if there weren't others in this category, I probably still would not buy it again. And it's a shame because it's a well-constructed shoe. It just, for me personally, was not it. Didn't work. But I could transition pretty quickly into one that did work for me, which was the Adios 9. I want to buy this again. I haven't gotten around to like actually trying to buy the Adios 9 again, but I probably would. Even like literally actually might buy another pair of these at some point in the future because it works really well as a walking shoe. It works really well as a daily trainer. You can go really quick in it. It looks phenomenal. It's just a nice shoe. And yeah, it's I guess you could call this a traditional 5 to 10K racing flat is a category you could put it in, or you could put it in, right, the same category as the Aeroblaze, which is like a tempo, lower middle stack daily trainer. I don't know exactly which category I would put it in, but yes, I would buy it again. And if it's the only one in this category that I could buy again, that depends on what category it's in. So if you called it a 5 to 10K racer, which is I think what they were really trying to call it at Adidas initially, then there's really stiff competition in that category, and I would probably have to go with a different shoe. But if you call this like a tempo shoe or like a lower stack daily trainer, then it kind of wins that category for the year for me altogether. So of course I would buy it again. So it's like a super winner with a small caveat to it. But yeah, Adios 9, phenomenal shoe. New Balance Pulse version 1. I really hope they come out with a version 2 for this and put some super foam in it, because I really like this, but I did not use it for the 5 to 10K racing flat purpose that it was designed for. This is very similar to the Adios 9 in the sense that like it's not really a 5 to 10K racer, at least not in the modern sense of the word, where it doesn't have a plate. This one doesn't have super foam, at least the Adios 9 did. But yeah, I mean, again, it depends also on would I buy this again if that's the category that it's going up against? Probably not. But would I buy it again if it were like a daily, like lower stack shoe, even for slower paces? Then yes, I would. Where this one doesn't quite rise to the occasion of the Adios 9 is I wouldn't buy this again if like I had to choose between this and the Adios 9, if they're in the same category. And I could only choose from current shoes, and then I could only choose from what's on the market for the category that I'm describing. Yeah, the Pulse would lose out to the Adios 9 if I were purchasing them again. Next up, we got the Neo Zen from Mizuno. Mizuno Neo Zen. First of all, yes, I would buy it again if it was just time is frozen and there were other daily trainers that are on the market and I had to choose between getting the Neo Zen and something else on the market generally. Yes, I would buy it again. On the other hand, if I could only have the Mizuno Neo Zen or another fun daily trainer, that would become a lot more challenging of a question. I don't think I would buy this again if I were going up against something like the Evo SL, or if I were going up against something like, I don't know, I might want to try something entirely different in a fun daily trainer that I haven't even tried yet from this past year. So the reason I say that is this is not very durable. It is a lot of fun, but it is a little unstable. And yeah, I loved it initially. I think I really enjoyed this shoe a lot initially. And then it sort of just fell off over time as the foam started to compress. And I think that if the upper were different on this, that would make a massive difference in its competitiveness to the rest of the market, because the stability issues with the midsole is sort of amplified by the insecure fit of the booty construction. So yes, generally I would buy it again, but when you press me for any more details on if I would buy it again, probably actually not. Okay, big controversial one, hot take. Evo SL, would I buy this shoe again? Well, since the Evo SL was released, they released also 15 million other iterations of the Evo SL. And so I would never have to buy this Evo SL again, but would I buy the Evo SL again? The all-terrain, the fake zipper version that they put on Reddit? I hope that's fake, for God's sake. Then there's the woven version. If I were going to buy any version of the Evo SL again, it would be the woven version. But things that are currently on the market right now, fun daily trainer versus the world. Would I buy the Evo SL again? No, I wouldn't. And the reason, it's not because it's a bad shoe. This is a challenging, topic for this shoe particularly, because I've already purchased it twice. And I'm done with it. I do not want to run in this anymore. I've moved on mentally from the Evo SL. I don't care anymore. And besides, the Dynafish Xiaonan is taller stack and does a better job of being the Evo SL than the Evo SL does. So there's actually no purpose to the Evo SL for me personally anymore. Similar shoe in that regard, New Balance Rebel V4. The Rebel V4 is an old shoe at this point. This is not even one that might be available by the time that this video comes out. I'm sure you could still find a couple of them, but I did buy it this year. And this is also the second pair of New Balance Rebel V4 that I bought. This shoe tends to die at like 70 miles. I actually have an unopened pair in a box because I got an extra from Joe's New Balance outlet. They sent me two. But this, yeah, I would never buy this again for any reason. Like it's nice to run in for an occasional running shoe. It might even be a nice, like, you know, student gift. Like a college student would probably rock this pretty well. It's a good running shoe. It's just that the foam does not last very long in my personal experience, or at least the bounce in the foam doesn't. It's durable enough in the sense of like you could continue to run in this for probably hundreds of miles, but not with the fun associated with it. So it's good at first, not good over time. So no, I wouldn't buy it again. The Hoka Mach X3, we're continuing a trend here. Plastic plated, daily training, like long run, up tempo, sort of super trainer. I don't know if I guess it could have that moniker. I'm not really sure what category to put this in, but plastic plated super trainer is probably the one that it would be in. Yeah, I don't actually think I would buy this again for similar reasons to the Rebel V4. It's good. I really like it, and it's buttery smooth. It's a really good shoe, but the PIBA and the forefoot just sort of fell apart pretty quickly. I mean, not as quickly as the Rebel V4, but it creates this like really high dropped feeling over time as the forefoot compresses. And I still will run in this probably once or twice more in the, span of my ownership of it. I have I think somewhere around 150 miles right now. And I really did like it. But if I had to choose from this or something else that's on the market right now, that's a plastic plated daily trainer, maybe I would get the one from Brooks, the Hyperion Max 3. I would probably try that out instead of this as a faster tempo plastic plated trainer. Or the Endorphin Speed 5. There's no shortage of plastic plated trainers on the market, and I would just choose something else. Dynafish Dannian 1. What is this? This is kind of a weird one because it's positioned in their lineup as a kind of marathon racing shoe, but I think it's much better for the 5:10 to half, probably half marathon for me personally, and as either a racing shoe or like a training companion to a racing shoe. That's what I would consider the purpose of the shoe to be. But I think that, according to their purpose, this is a marathon racer. I wouldn't buy it again for that. But if I were buying it, would I buy this shoe again? That's another good question. It's very cheap. It's a very, very low cost shoe. It's like $100 or something, even after shipping from China. And so, because of the value, yes. But it's kind of like they're going to make better shoes in the near future. Dynafish is coming in swinging to the market. They're going direct to consumer. They're actually even working on a way to get these shoes to the United States of America more effectively because we're the consumer base, let's be real. And the future is why I wouldn't consider buying this again. But this thought experiment is saying, if all of the shoes were frozen in time, would I buy this again? Yeah, that's a really hard one for this because the durability of the foam is poor at best. And so, I'm going to try to be as critical as possible of all of these shoes throughout the lineup. So no, actually, I would not buy this again. I would go with something else. And actually, I know what I would go with to replace this as the, 5:10K half marathon, basically half marathon shoe. And I would go with Takumi Sen 11 from Adidas. This has been the dark horse for me for the year. The first run I did in this, I hated this shoe. And then every run since then, it's sort of taken more and more mental market share for, affection towards a shoe for me personally. So the Takumi Sen 11 is, it's definitely a half marathon racing shoe for the vast majority of people, or under, right? It's probably a little quicker for most people, but I wouldn't consider this a 5 to 10K racer for myself. I think it's more of a half marathon shoe and daily trainer, frankly. And so I would buy this again if there were no future shoes coming and no past shoes beyond what's available on the market. Yes, I would buy this shoe again. I would not buy the previous version of this, the Takumi Sen 10. That I did not get along with at all, but I would buy this one. And would I buy it if I couldn't buy any other half marathon shoe? Then yes, I would. But if I couldn't buy another 5 to 10K racing shoe, I couldn't make that decision, because there's a shoe that I would buy every time, and that's the Nike Streak Fly 2. Under any circumstance, I will buy this shoe again. I probably, once this goes on sale and there's a version 3, I'll probably get an extra pair, maybe even 2 extra pairs to savor, to keep with me, because I don't want this shoe to go away ever. And it's not durable. It's not meant to be. It's so lightning fast. This is my shoe of the year this year. If I can never buy another 5 to 10K racing shoe again, I'd probably buy like several pairs of this. This would be the only this is the only 5 to 10K racing shoe on the market, because it destroys everything else for that purpose. Like, there's nobody that even comes close to competitive in this space. Okay, so pivoting to something else. A daily trainer. I feel like we haven't really had many just standard daily trainers on this list. Like the Rebel V4 is a lightweight daily trainer. The Evo SL is like a super daily trainer. Chowdan Win 3TR. I would buy this again if time was frozen and this was one of the options available on the market, but I would buy it in a 10 instead of a 9.5. The last run that I did in this, it was just not quite wide enough in the forefoot for me, which I hadn't really noticed before. Maybe I was wearing wider socks, but I mean, that's just like a couple millimeters. So I would buy it in a different size. If I could not buy any other daily trainer ever again, and I was stuck with what's available in 2025 for daily trainers, I would probably try a different daily trainer than this. But generally, I would buy this again. It's been a good shoe for me. I actually need to get even more miles in it. I think it's just like a good, thoughtless, you could just get out the door and run in this for sure. So, okay, we're whittling it down, getting down low. Do some racing shoes next. Hoka Rocket X3. I wouldn't buy this again. I don't run in it. I don't like it. There's something about, again, the PIBA in the forefoot is a little too soft, and I get some plate feel. I think it's a little harsh. I always feel sore after running in this. It is pretty darn fast. I mean, if you're looking for a fast racing shoe, maybe this could work for a half marathon shoe for some people. It's a little too tall for a half marathon for me. I like a more flat construction for faster distances, shorter distances. No, I mean, it's a pretty cut and dry. No, I wouldn't buy this again. I would buy so many other carbon fiber racing shoes and so many other shoes. I just wouldn't buy this again. Douyin PB Pro. Instant buy. It's another tricky one, though, because it's in the less than full marathon racing range. Maybe you could run a full marathon in it. I was actually really considering running a full marathon in this when I decided to ultimately go with the Edge Tokyo right before my race. I was like, oh my God, the Edge Tokyo is not going to work for me. Well, obviously, I ran my race in the Edge Tokyo and it worked phenomenally. So I was just panicking. But this was the only other thing that I could consider as a potential to replace that. So I would buy this again. I would definitely buy this again. But if it were just this or any other carbon fiber racing shoe on the market, and I could only have either this or a different carbon fiber racing shoe on the market, I would go with something else. And what I would go with It's actually the Edge Tokyo. This was my racing shoe. It's still a little dilapidated from the travel, squished in the suitcase, but the Edge Tokyo, man, it brought me to a 50-minute PR. I don't know what to say. I would buy this again. I would buy only this for a full stack marathon racing shoe. No brainer. No more to say about it. Do a little pivot really quick to the Puma Mag Max 2. So far, I've been enjoying it. I don't have enough miles to really evaluate it, but I did buy it this year. And I do think that if I had to buy this or another Max Stack shoe, I'm taking a risk whenever I'm buying a Max Stack shoe because it's not really my category. Like a Max recovery, like high cushioned, big chongus of a shoe I'm talking about. That isn't what I know. That's not what I typically run in. So yeah, I would buy this again, and probably I wouldn't even bother trying another thing from the category because this has worked so far for me. But I reserve my right to change. I reserve the right to change my opinion on that because I've only had 2 runs in this so far. Okay, final 2. Mizuno, Wave, Rebellion, Pro 3 Low. This is a full stack carbon fiber racing shoe. So would I buy it again? Well, let's start with the more challenging question. Would I buy it again versus all of the available carbon fiber racing shoes if I could only have this or any other carbon fiber racing shoe? Obviously, since I'm choosing the Metaspeed Edge Tokyo for carbon fiber racing shoes, I would take the Edge Tokyo over this. So no, I wouldn't take this again if it were this versus other carbon this year. Would I buy it again generally? You know, I've had a lot of fun in this shoe. I've enjoyed my runs in it. It's maybe the bounciest shoe that I've ever run in, but it's kind of pointless to me. And I hate saying that about something that I really like, but I can't really race in this because I don't trust myself not to roll an ankle. Maybe someday if I get more, biomechanically excellent and exquisite, this could be a very good option for a race, but I wouldn't race in it. I don't tend to do long runs in it because I'm testing new shoes all the time, so it's sort of an afterthought. The outsole, despite being full coverage, is not the grippiest. And so there's just a few things that I just don't think, if I cycled through all of the carbon on the market after being in this weird Groundhog Day of 2025 shoes over and over and over again, maybe eventually I would circle back to this, but just immediately, no, I wouldn't buy it again. Sorry, Mizuno. It's a really good shoe. I really like it. It's just, I wouldn't buy it again. Oh, the Mega Blast. I wouldn't buy this again. Maybe if it went on sale, but it's $225. It's an overpriced shoe. I've loved it. If they come out with a version 2 where they widen the toe box, I would buy that again, but that's not the purpose of this exercise. And yeah, I love this. I'm going to continue to get miles on it. I just can't justify the price. And I do think that for me, it was worth getting this shoe to see what the market is capable of. But now that I've seen what the Eastern market, what the Chinese market is capable of, I don't really think that I would buy the Mega Blast again under pretty much any circumstances, even though I think it's very nearly the best in category. And it is the best in category, in my opinion, for Western brands. Just fast, overstacked, punchy foam. Yeah, and it's really the upper that's letting this down for me, because if it were the foam and a different upper on it, I'd probably even think that this could be worth the price. But yeah, I know that's a somber note to end on, but goodbye Mega Blast. I'm going to organize these really quick for you all so you can see the winners and the losers. There you have it, everybody. The winners and the losers for 2025. Thank you all so very much for watching. It's been a fun time creating this little list for you. And as always, stay in motion.